You are the resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind, it is this feeling that has brought you to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us had to be brought to the brink. A lot of us here have calling.
I can only show you the door.
To awaken others.
You're the one that has to walk through it.
Spreading a message.
Something's happening, right?
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is clearly
Time is coming.
at
The
a
train
tipping
can't be stopped. Momentum is
Right?
already here.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind, it is this feeling that has brought you to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us had to be brought to the brink. A lot of us here have calling.
I can only show you the door.
To awaken others.
You're the one that has to walk through it.
Spreading a message.
Something's happening, right?
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is clearly
Time is coming.
at
The
a
train
tipping
can't be stopped. Momentum is
Right?
already here.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe.
60
You take
seconds
the
there,
red
yo.
pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
This is a struggle for the survival.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And this will be our last chance to say.
Trying to free your mind, it is this feeling that has brought you to me.
At last.
No judge in U.S. history has ever told somebody what they can and can't say.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government the hell out of the business of speech.
Many of us had to be brought to the brink. A lot of us here have calling.
I can only show you the door.
To awaken others.
You're the one that has to walk through it.
Spreading a message.
Something's happening, right?
The world is changing every day.
Civilization is clearly
Time is coming.
at
The
a
train
tipping
can't be stopped. Momentum is
Right?
already here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to The True Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. Once again, thank you for tuning in to The True Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. Thank you for all tuning in. I know it's been a little while since I've come back on here. Last show was with Megan Brilliant, and we were talking about a lot of things, and I could swear that we've mentioned some things that this country is going to be facing and this world's going to be facing. In fact, many times on this podcast alone and off air, these sort of things have been mentioned that are going to occur. In no way am I saying these events are predicted or anything like that. Shout outs to, hey, Joe. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Miss you, brother. We got to get you on here, too. But many times on this podcast, and I've spoken with many other people and people who know me personally over the years, you know, these things have been talked about where the violence is going to ramp up more and more and more and more and more. And on one side of the spectrum, and I think I've had this conversation on air or maybe even privately with Will Turbot of Fake Mike Real News. Fake Mike Real News. Fake Mike Real News. That's a soundbite. And also, you know, I think I've had this conversation with Joa Hart. Shout outs to him. A lot of people, John Miner, a lot of close people, even on this show, talking about where the violence is going to be ramping up. And on one side of the spectrum, you have conservatives, liberals, the socialists, the capitalists, the fascist types. And then you have everybody else who's in the center of it all. And I'm not talking like center left or center right. I'm talking about the actual center that doesn't put themselves in a box, that call themselves a conservative or call themselves a liberal or call themselves a socialist or a Marxist. And, you know, no one's picking any of these teams to be a part of, because in that small minority circle, in that small minority movement that's been awakened probably since 9/11, and mind you, we're a day away from 9/11, which is very interesting why that these events have been occurring a lot more so quickly. But you have this minority group which refer to themselves as like the truth movement or the real conspiracy theorists, quote unquote conspiracy theorists. And time again, these people have been telling the public for many years, for many decades, for many lifetimes, that these sort of things are going to happen. And it's because it's been orchestrated and designed by these MK Ultra programs, these CIA programs, these George Soros, Rockefeller, Rothschild funded programs, these Bohemian Grove, Moloch, parasitic, disgusting human beings. I don't even know if I can call them human beings, but these disgusting people who are behind the scenes orchestrating these sorts of things. So when you have a prominent figure such as Charlie Kirk, who is a conservative, yes, I know, who is a Trump supporter, yes, I know, and a lot of people are saying like, oh, he's a MAGA supporter. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that. None of that matters to the fact of what's been happening. And unfortunately, we have to use him as an example on, well, him out of many examples, really. And I'm talking about on both sides of the spectrum. But because this happened today, and because these school shootings have been happening, and because the murder on the bus with the girl from Ukraine, and all of these, and mind you, these are random acts of violence that they publicize, let alone all of the random acts of violence that are happening that don't get publicized, let alone all of the stuff that goes on in the streets. So my point here is you have this small truth movement who have been hijacked by both the liberal and conservative, and it's been bandwagon and basically coupled into the conservative limelight, into the conservative grouping, to where the truth movement, no one can tell the difference where that actual grassrooted truth movement is. And I'm talking about the ones that are awake from the 9/11, from when 9/11 occurred, and even way before then. I'm talking about pre-Alex Jones era. I'm talking pre-Bill Cooper era. Shout outs to Christine. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, sister in Christ. Yes, it's demonic. It is purely demonic. And I'm getting to that. I'm getting also to that too. The reason why I'm even doing this emergency broadcast, and I hate doing emergency broadcasts, not because I don't like doing them, and I don't like talking to the people, but the fact that this thing has been occurring for decades. I'm saying I'm really not trying to make this out to be. I'm really not trying to show too much emotion here, like angrily or even saddened. I'm physically trying to keep it together as far as not being. I'm trying to keep my language together right now. I'm trying to be right on what I'm saying here. Because I'll be honest, the effect, the realization and the effect of what happened to Charlie Kirk, or what's been happening lately, or what's been happening in the past, what's been happening these past few decades, but most recently now, where the quickening has been happening, where you have random acts of violence, or you have perpetual violence that are going across the globe. You have bombs going over and killing children. You have children being murdered in African nations because they pray to a god that somebody else wants to have an issue with, because Islamic extremists think that people of Christ can't pray to God or pray to Jesus, or the Jews have a land fight between the Palestinians, or Palestinians think that they have land rights, or this one has land rights, or this race is better than this race, and this cause is better than this cause, and all of it is perpetual violence. Perpetual. It's been happening for centuries. It's been happening for millennia. It's been happening for decades. And right in the middle of this fight right now is our children. All of our children. Every single one of our children. Yours, mine, the ones that and then we're seeing it live. We're seeing it live happening. All of these parasitic groups, these elitist parasitic groups, and I hate using the word elitist because they are no better than you or I, but these parasitic leaderships are in control of this. They're orchestrating these things. They're designing these events. I'm not saying that the event that happened to Charlie Kirk, or the one or the girl from the Ukraine that got murdered on the bus, or the school shoot. I'm saying that these events are real, but they're orchestrated. They're orchestrated by several. There's so many onion layers to this, and it's almost laughable to people who aren't even aware of this, because when you start mentioning things like the MK Ultra, CIA, MK Ultra is a real program, ladies and gentlemen. Go research that. It's a real program conducted by the CIA. It's been done since the 60s, 50s, 60s. The CIA has been heavily involved. The CIA is controlled. It's not just the Central Intelligence Agency just for the American government. You have Mossad, you have the CIA, you have other intelligence agencies that are working together. You have the Kremlin works with the CIA. The CIA works with the Kremlin. The CCP works with America. All of these nations, all of these things, they work with each other. How can nobody put these dots together? And why am I mentioning all this? Why does this have anything to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk? It has everything to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk, because this right now, America, you have all of these legislations that are trying to take away guns. In Rhode Island alone, if you're from Rhode Island, Rhode Island's been headhunting infringement on rights, but it doesn't even stop there. The entire nation is going through this. So you even have Trump that is putting in through legislation that is pretty anti-firearm, anti-Second Amendment. I don't know the exact language right now. I'm not even going to look it up right now because I don't have the mental capacity to do that at this moment. I really don't. This is not the first time, but this has gotten to a point to where this is close to not. I can't even compare it to 9/11. What I'm saying is I'm relating it to that these events that have been happening are onion level events that are leading up to a 9/11 event, and we're a day away from it. So I don't know if if there's going to be something that occurs. Shout outs to Tracy. Thank you for thank you for tuning in. Everybody that's tuning in right now, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I really do, and I hope you can bear with me for a little bit. I'm not going to keep y'all too long. I wanted to focus on shout outs to Lisa, shout outs to everybody. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I really do. I love y'all. Thank you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, share it to everybody. Tell people about the show. Let me scale this back, because the ADHD is making me crazy right now. I'm emotionally moved by it because, first of all, this man was a father. I believe he had 2 children, he had a wife. He said a lot of controversial things at these campuses. Yeah, he triggered a lot of probably emotionally unstable people. I do not think that it was an emotionally unstable person who shot him, although I don't shout out to Natty. Appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Cheryl, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate y'all. I don't know Respiria. Hold on. Are you testing my are you testing my Espanol? Probably. Respiria. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, and I'm not sure if I know what it means. But if you can help me. I'm emotionally moved by this because the event that happened with Charlie Kirk, even with I haven't even said too much online about the girl that got stabbed on the bus and was killed. I'm emotionally moved by that. I mean, yeah, the guy probably had some mental problems, but he also he didn't need to be out on the streets either. 14 counts of, like, I don't know, some type of crimes that he was doing. I think they were all violent crimes. And then he murders a poor girl in her 20s, barely, who evaded war only to come to America, where she probably thought she was safe, and she wasn't. And our society's failing these people. Our society's failing. Our society, we are failing society. Society's failing us, and you and I, are failing society. And why am I putting the accountability on you and I and everybody else that's witnessing all this stuff happening? Because we're allowing these parasitic legislations, these parasitic people take control of lands that they have no power over of. And yet they do, because they have all the money. And they have all the resources, and they have control of the resources, and they have control of And they have, not only do they have control over resources or lands or money, but they have control over the people that they can make these legislations happen or make these events happen. And a lot of these events that just happened to Charlie Kirk and just happened to I think her name's Erna. I don't really know how to say her name. That's why I'm just saying the girl on the bus. I know everyone knows about it. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to dismiss what, the important, all of these things that are happening are important. All of these things that are happening are important. And maybe some of it is PSYOP. A lot of people think that they think, of course they're PSYOPs. They're PSYOPs because they're trying to, first of all, what this system has been specifically designed to do, especially here in America, is have Americans, whether you're on the liberal, socialist, Marxist, communist, libertarian, anarchist side, whatever side that is, whatever side that you black, white, brown, whatever side that you tribally put yourself into, they want us at war. They want 100%. They have 100% desire to have us all at war, whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Hindu, whatever the hell it is that you pray to, whatever cow, whatever statue, whatever God, whatever thing that you think that is, whatever it is, they want us all in perpetual war in this nation because they want it to fall. It's in the playing cards. It's all there. And as a believer in Christ, I am someone that probably shouldn't be so bent out of shape and concerned about these sorts of things, because I suppose in the end, we all know where the winner is. But the fact that these things are occurring, it's as though I'm compelled to say something, because the intent of this world is not how it's supposed to be in the state that it's in. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that the human existence is not supposed to be in perpetual war, perpetual suffering, perpetual pain, misery, turmoil. I mean, there are beautiful people in places on this planet, none of which I've actually had the opportunity to visit myself yet, other than Canada. But I've met a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people from different languages, cultures, and creeds. And yeah, we got a lot of bad. I mean, you know, humanity has a terrible side to itself. An extremely disgusting, parasitic side to itself. And we're witnessing it. And at the same time, there are people who look at this as I would. I looked at that video, or I look at these videos, and the first thing that I want to do is destroy whoever is causing it. Because that's the flesh talking. The flesh is yearning for a complete battle with the flesh. And wants to completely destroy whatever that it decides is evil and unworthy to be breathing. But then at the same time, I think of this, and I can't see an end to that. It's just going to perpetuate time and time again. Shout out to Melissa. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and hearing me rant about the state of our, the state of our existence. You know, I find myself lately saying, God, where are you? Where are you? And I don't mean it in the sense of like, I don't think that he's not there. I'm just saying it's the flesh talking. It's the mind. It's the lack of understanding of what all of this is, or where all of this is leading to. And I want it to stop. I want it to stop because I'm looking at my kids and I'm looking at family and I'm looking at the world and I'm looking at everybody else and people who I truly do love. And even if you're a stranger, I truly do love. I want people to be safe. I want people to have prosperity. I want people to be in the great abundance of what love is supposed to be. And you know, I don't even think we have any idea what love is truly supposed to be. I mean, to an extent, maybe. I think I've witnessed that through having the birth of my son, for sure. Having children. Having a stable relationship. But it goes beyond that. And this violence that we're seeing is going to be, we're heading in the war, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're doing. We're seeing the physical ramifications of the spiritual war that is unseen to us. That's what we're seeing. That is 100% what we're seeing. I can't prove that to you. I can't prove you on the spiritual side, although I could point to some things in scripture, some things in history that I've read over time, over years, and then I can consolidate those thoughts and give you my opinion on where we are. That's all I can do. Don't take my word for any of it. I highly suggest that you research it. Tracy says violence and famine is coming. Yeah. We've already seen, look, you've got people in the Congo right now having their heads cut off, women and children and men being murdered indiscriminately, gunned down. You have Syrian Christians. You have, and I'm not just saying Christians just to isolate between people, but I'm saying it for what it is. The truth is the truth, no matter what it is. It could be. These things are happening, and it's happening all across the world. It's right on our doorstep here in America, here in the West. We're the last country. We're the last frontier, ladies and gentlemen. We are the last frontier as far as holding and restraining anything back. through God's grace, the only country that is able to withstand it so far is America. Every other country will fall once we do. It's just in the writing. It's in the writing on the wall. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Ephesians. It is hard to explain what God and Christ and the finding of that is supposed to mean to so many others, because I'd be a lying man if I told you that I don't have my doubts sometimes, or if I don't have my questions on what all this means and what's the purpose for it all. I don't know. Jesse L, shout outs to you. I'm not sure if it's someone who's on the pro-Palestinian side at this time. Either way, let me try and explain something. All of these groups, when they call people conservative, they call people liberal, they call people pro-Palestinian or pro-BLM or pro-Antifa and all these things. These are groups. These are boxes that they give certain groups so that you can other someone, so that you can point the target at something or someone, right? So one hand you got MAGA, other hand you have the mask wearing liberals or whatever, or you have the conservatives or the left or the woke left, and they make these groups so that you can, or you got black and you got white, and they make these groups, or they colorize them, or they perpetuate themselves in some sort of tribal like way, so that you can start creating an enemy. So the public, through the media, the media to the public can start creating an enemy. What did they do during 9/11, right? When 9/11 happened, they said weapons of mass destruction is found in Afghanistan and Iraq. How did they get into Iraq and Afghanistan? Because George Bush was saying weapons of mass destruction is blah, blah, blah over here. Bin Laden is the culprit. And then somehow 19 so-called Arab Muslims, whatever, hijacked 4 planes. Not just 1, 4. And they hijacked the planes and they ended up crashing them into key places, across the country, right? But then no proof of any of these people even existing. So my point here is that there was no proof of weapons of mass destruction, but they still had to create an enemy, someone to face. So this is what they're doing now. I'm trying to compare it between what's been happening in at least the last decade, for sure. And this has all been ushering in from the Bush administration, from the Obama administration, from the Trump administrations. It's perpetual. I feel like I'm using that word out of context. It's been consistent for Jesus. Man, I don't even know why I do these. I don't even know why I make podcasts. It has nothing to do with wanting to talk to mention it, to talk to people, to have people on here. I mean, I like doing that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, where does it actually lead to? Where does this actually all go to? And for what purpose that these events are occurring? I could tell you what their playing cards are. I just don't know why God can't just. It's frustration, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. It's frustration. Well, Palantir is definitely getting implemented. And I think that guy, Peter Thiel, is like having an Antichrist, seminar or something like that. And isn't Gideon, didn't they say that this thing called Gideon, which is and I'm going off of memory, but I think it has something to do with like it alerts police, local police, and it's an AI system that if there's any perceived threats online or some, yes, exactly, like a pre-crime type thing or something like that. And so, like, if you're like right now, if I'm saying something that they would, classify as violent or whatever, that it would end up being broadcasted to any local law enforcement. It's like, oh, this guy's, he may be a little bit unstable. He's talking a lot of stuff on his podcast. I mean, they probably have already gotten that for many, many years anyway. But yes, Gideon, straight out of. Oh yeah, so yes, and I think the guy, I can't remember his name. I maybe I'll do a show on that after tomorrow because I have a show about Flat Earth tomorrow. So, but I believe it was like he said something that it's Israeli grade technology or something along those lines. So yeah, it sounds like Mossad. Anyway, the event that occurred today, I mean, as surprised as I'm surprised of how surprised that I feel about it when I saw it. It's brutal. It really is. It's brutal. He's asked a question and then, and that was the faraway video. There's a couple close up videos where it's just like, it's bad. It's just bad. And immediately, though, the reason why a lot of it too has been, I mean, it's been really pissing me off. It's actually been really angering me, saddening, but a lot of it's anger because I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of it even existing. The big part of why it's making me angry and from seeing it, is that these events are going to be increased. They've already have increased. I've been talking about this. For a long time on this podcast, through the social medias. I've been saying it for many, 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 many years. Among many others, not just me. There's definitely a lot out there who have been. But I've been saying it for many, many years. These things are going to occur. The school shootings are going to get worse. They're going to get worse. Because we have gun-free zones and we have an infringement on our Second Amendment rights. That's the only thing that's keeping a lot of this shit from going completely left. And I don't mean left as a pun either. I mean that literally. And not to mention, you have antipsychotic. America's like one of the number one antipsychotic prescriptions. Supposedly supposed to be antipsychotic when it actually makes people psychotic. And then look, and then you have MK Ultra programs. You have indoctrinating Manchurian candidate programs for things like these, for things like this to happen. You have a radicalization of these things happening. You could see it when they protest. When you see the pro-Palestinian or pro-BLM or pro-Antifa, you see it. It's right there. And like if you speak against, I don't know, you're a racist or you're just, you're a bigot or you're an offender, you're offensive. But these things are occurring. That's the point. See, everyone wants to just, speak from an emotional perspective, like, oh, I'm part of this. I'm part of this tribe. Listen, we're all in this. It's all on our doorstep. So whether you're on one side or the other, it's on your doorstep. And another thing about this too is that this is how I connect dots. I'm sorry if you can follow me. I have, if you're new to the show, it's ADHD. So it's like a million thoughts all at once. Had it my entire life. I call it a superpower. It's not it's definitely not a disability. Tracy says they just arrested a little 10-year-old for doing another shooting. I haven't heard it. Again, that's something I wouldn't even be surprised about. And my goodness, 10 years old. So Jesse L says this is the mass trauma type event that they use to further the agenda. Absolutely. They use all of these. Spirit of offense is real. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. You start speaking that truth and you're over the target. And this is what happened. This is exactly what happened to Charlie Kirk. Guy goes out to campuses all the time, right? And he speaks to young adults, young college students, young adults, and he talks about controversial issues. He goes on about, the whole transgender genderism, the agenda and the pronoun agenda and all that stuff. And you get a lot of emotional individuals that come up and think that they're right. And a lot of them, to be quite honest, they have an illogical point of view. And so, but the thing about Charlie Kirk, he doesn't go to insult any of these people, any of these kids. He goes and actually attempts to have a conversation. There's many much footage of his stuff that is out there that he was doing that. That's a part of his campaign. That's what he does. That's what he did. And I could see a lot of this stuff causing some type of anger wave towards him or whatever, because he definitely was hated on mostly by the left. And I use these terms because this is the terms that people understand and how to identify. I already know kind of where everyone sits. I'm part of the truth movement. If anyone ever wanted to say like, hey, that dude True from the True Perspective, he's a conservative, or he's what is he? Some people have said like, oh, you're anti-gay or you're anti-trans or whatever the hell it is. I've had that said to me many times because first of all, they don't listen to what I'm saying. And secondly, everything's an emotional response. I don't even want to make it about that on this show tonight, right now. But these are the things that you have to face when you're speaking, when you're over the target, when you're speaking a truth, whether it be from a biblical perspective or political perspective, whatever, or historical perspective, whatever. When you're over the target, the insults come, especially when they don't have an answer, especially when they don't have anything to rebuttal you. Usually people become violent who aren't coming from a logical standpoint, like an adult mind frame. But anyway, I was saying this earlier. This is where I get sidetracked sometimes. All of these things that have been going on are all caused by MK Ultra programs, antipsychotics, so-called antipsychotics. That's like antidepressants. People who are depressed, or people have supposedly schizophrenia or whatever psychological issue, and they're put on these antipsychotics. Notice antipsychotic, but it actually, when you read the fine print of these things or the side effects of these things, it ends up being like, may cause unaliving thoughts, may cause deeper depression, may cause anger, or whatever the side effects are. Usually it amplifies whatever they're feeling currently. And there's also, and you can look this up, don't take my word for any of this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take my word as the gospel. Okay. When I'm saying that there's chemicals in the water, chemicals in the food, that we're constantly bombarded with chemicals, constantly. I bet you now that you yourself, if you took a blood test or anything like that, and you specifically were looking for any type of carcinogens that's in your blood currently, plastics, what's the one that's in the water? I think it's called Altrazine, I believe. And they did a study on frogs, and the frogs ended up actually and someone's going to laugh and say, oh, they're turning the frogs gay. Like the famous Alex Jones quote. Look, he wasn't wrong. He just, it's just, man, I'm not going to distract myself and pull that video up yet. But there's a real chemical called, I believe it's called Altrazine. Someone's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but they'll know. anyway, there's this chemical that was studied, put in the water. The frogs were, it was given to frogs. It was given to male frogs, I think specifically, and their gender changed, like internally and everything. It all changed. The organs and everything ended up changing. Their what do you call their? I believe it mostly had to do with the hormone level or something like that. So that's another thing that's put in our water is hormones. So you have all of these things. You're being bombarded with chemicals, with all of these things in the food, in the water. And someone's going to say like, oh, he's a crazy conspiracy theorist. Listen, they're calling chemtrails right now cloud seeding. 20 years ago, we were saying, 20 years ago, and when I say we, the truth movement is what I'm saying, the real woke, we were saying chemtrails were coming off of airliners because you can see contrails. Contrails end up dissipating, usually after like a few seconds or a few minutes. Chemtrails, which is what we do see in the air, most of the time, a lot of people think, they just think that they're clouds. A lot of clouds that we see today aren't clouds. I'm telling you right now. Call me crazy. Go ahead, look it up. Chemtrails are what also come out of where it appears that it looks like it comes out of the engine as a contrail. It stays there for a long duration. You ever see the smoke going by when you're watching the plane go by sometimes, and you see the long trail of smoke or cloud? Yeah, that's a chemtrail. That's full of chemicals. It's full of aluminum, barium, I think, or barium, I believe. All types of shit that you do not need in your lungs, in your blood, in your liver, in your kidneys, in your brain. You don't need. Listen, why is aluminum found on Mount Everest, I think it was, or somewhere up high in a mountain, I believe, near the base of Mount Everest? Aluminum doesn't exist in soil naturally. Yeah. Shout outs to Kim. It's been a long time. Appreciate you for tuning in also. Yeah, Charlie Kirk, he was a great debater. He did great debates. He did a lot of great commentaries. He did a lot of great seminars and lectures. It's one thing that it's sad that it's happened. Like I said before, the larger part of this, the larger part of this equation that's occurring, it's going to get worse. I mean, if you're reading some of the, and a lot of times too, you have to be careful also out there is that when you're reading some of these comments, you have to kind of be careful with it because a lot of it's bots. That's another thing. Technology is also fueling this type of perpetual hatred and violence. Auntie, thank you for tuning in. Auntie Kathy, thank you. She said, the Ukraine woman fired me up, and now Charlie, and these bastards think that they can just get away with murder. Needs to be eye for an eye. I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that. I don't know if I can agree with the eye for an eye. I mean, I get it. I get it. Because where does it end? Where does it end if that occurs? And believe me, 10, 20, 15-ish years ago, 20? Yeah, I'd say about 20 years ago, I was all for having a revolution that would destroy and destabilize the political, policing, judiciary, military system. I mean, like full-fledged blood to bone type revolutionary type war. I was in that mindset about maybe 20 years ago, give or take. And over time, I started to see things a lot clearly, a lot more clearer, maybe from a different perspective. And yes, mostly from that perspective was looking at how police do their policing, and many of them are parasitic. They're disgusting on how they treat the public. But they themselves are pawns, right? They themselves are put there. They're trained. Some say they're not trained. I don't think they're trained. I don't think they're trained properly, but they're trained in order to, again, create the enemy. That's what this system does. It creates the enemy for you. You know what I mean? It's the system feeds off perpetual violence. So if we are to react and say like, oh, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna take this system over and end it, it's not gonna happen, because somebody else is gonna sit in that place. Somebody else is going to take over. People that we don't want to. So in the grand scheme of all of this, right, that happens because it's going to happen. There's going to be fire shot. There's going to be a fired shot, and this may very well have been it. This may very well have been it. Because if you look online, maybe some of it's bots, not all of it is. There's a lot of people out there that are saying, like, we got to get our get back. What does that mean? And who is it? Who are we going to get, who's the target? Well, you got to think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Who are they associating liberals with, and who are they associating conservatives with? And in between all of that is the Marxist and communist and blah, blah, blah. And then you also have the federal you have the FBI and the CIA involved, trying to harness this monster that's been brewing for like at least probably the last 20 years, maybe more. I don't know. It's sad what happened to Charlie. It's sad what's been happening in the schools with the recent school shootings that have been going on. The young girl on the bus that was stabbed. All of it's a psyop. All of it is. And when I say psyop, I don't mean that it's fake. I don't mean that it's been, it's just acting. So some people just don't think things through, I don't think. And they call, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's on my timeline. He says that the thing on the event on the bus, the incident on the bus is an acting. Someone was like, there was a blood bag or something like that. I was also watching a video about the recent Charlie Kirk thing that says that he had a blood bag somewhere on his chest, and that's what created all the blood. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Sorry. Excuse my language. But people are they're morons. Some people are morons. I want to say that everything that's being done is 100% fake, 100% not real. Because I also want to be the person that says, yeah, this is all being orchestrated and designed, but there's real events that is happening. Is 9/11 fake? 9/11 actually happened. 3,000 some odd people died that day. I know I'm speaking about this a day before because I don't know if I'm going to be able to have a chance to do it tomorrow. Who knows what's happening tomorrow? Because numbers and time and dates matter to these parasitic people who live in who find themselves to think that they live in a high place above society, and they pray to a Moloch or a Baal or a fucking owl or a Baphomet. Excuse my language. Yeah. Chesley, I think it's Chesley. Oh, Kathy, Auntie, you said they keep it so we're constantly at each other's throats. But the violence that has been happening needs to be taken out, just like they did to their victims. I agree. I agree that the violence needs to be quelled to some, but I don't know. I don't know what that means. You know, to me personally, I mean, I think everyone else. I think everyone has an idea on what they mean. And if you see the, Christine says, if you see the close up, there's no way it's fake. Yeah. There's no, listen, there's an angle. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to play it on here. I don't think that's doing anything justice. If you need, if you want to, you know, go watch, don't go watch the video. Anyone who hasn't seen it, but if you happen to have to see it in order to see what's actually happening in our country, and two people who are, you know, here's the thing too, is that there are people that are going in front of crowds and speaking their opinions and having these conversations, which we should have, by the way. We should have conversations, whether you think that transgenderism is a good thing, or, you know, pronouns is a good thing, and someone comes and says like, well, I have this side of the facts that I want to present to you. Let's have this conversation instead of, you know, coming at each other's throats and yelling at each other and wanting to commit violence against one another. Let's have these talks. People have to have the ability to express their opinion or bring facts to the table in order for the truth to be said, in order for the truth to be sound. Because if we're gonna just be telling people that, no, you got to be silent, and if you're not silent, we kill you. That's the message. Exactly what has been what just happened with Charlie Kirk. It's the message that happens when you have these protests, and when you have people who actually counter the protest, but counter in a way of trying to get some information across, and they start getting beaten because they're there to have dialogue. That's what we need. We need to be able to have dialogue. If we don't have dialogue, then what we're going to have is perpetual violence and war. And I can't accept that humanity is just that's just our legacy. The legacy of our existence is war. I can't accept that. I don't believe in that. Yes, I do think that to some degree war is necessary. You have to be able to defend yourself and your family against whatever evil that wants to try and harm you, harm them, harm your neighbor. You have to be able to defend, and you righteously should. It's your birthright to defend yourself, your family, your neighbors, or whatever, your community. At all costs, by any means necessary, in my opinion. But you should be able to defend, not go and make an offense. But then there's some people that are in control that they need to be taken down. They need to be apprehended peacefully. Jesse, I'm glad that you found this this podcast as well. I really do. If you're a new watcher to this, I hope you like, share, subscribe. I hope you tell everybody about it. Jesse says, would love to have you at the 20th anniversary of Media Monarchy tomorrow on Discord. Amazing community of people. And James, do you mean like to come on if it's your show, or let's talk about it? Inbox me, hit me, inbox me, and We'll get in contact with each other. I'm genuinely intrigued. I don't think I've heard about Media Monarchy, but I'm always up to making new connections. I mean, I think it's important that for the time that we are able to be here, for however long that we have, within the circle of media outlets, the internet, whatever, making connections are important. So yeah, if you have something that you would find me interesting to have me on or take a look at, please inbox me, Jesse, because I will definitely, I'm genuinely intrigued, and we can communicate after the show. Yeah, it does start with the top. It starts with the top, but it also does matter and begin with the hearts too. And that's why, I really, I'm compelled to include the aspect of scripture, of the gospel, because I personally do not see any other way out of it. You can defend, and you can keep being brave and speaking the truth all you want, but the violence is going to continue, and it's going to be more because the unveiling is happening, and the leash on evil is losing the grip, or evil is becoming more bold. People are becoming colder. I was reading some stuff today that, like, there's people that are like, make comments like, oh, they'll post it. I don't even want to mention the group. I have them on Facebook. I don't know if the group itself supports what was said in the comment area. I'm not going to mention the group now. Maybe later in another show. Who knows? Jesse, what platform are you reaching me on? Because what's happening is I can see everyone's comments from like Facebook, YouTube, I believe X, and Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, and Rumble. So if you're on any of those, let me know, and I'll tell you where you could probably get to me, and send me an inbox. I lost my train of thought on the. Amen. Warren spiritual. For us, we need to pray for God. Yeah, I mean, I do pray for God's vengeance. I do. I really do. I get frustrated with him. I think I'm allowed to. I don't know. I don't know about anybody else, but I know that I can. I know that I express my frustration, especially with things that happen when I see kids being killed, or young women being killed, or just innocent people in general being killed, or really hurt. On no matter what. I don't even care. I don't even care what their political. I don't even want to see people that I don't even agree with hurt. That's the thing. See, that's the difference to a lot of this. I don't even want to see people that I may very much completely disagree with, and probably even think that whatever that they're saying or their opinion is complete garbage and trash. But I personally don't want to see them hurt physically at all. But the parasitic people, these people who pray to a Baphomet and a Moloch and a Baal, which, by the way, scripturally speaking, those are real documented deities. I don't think they were actually real. Maybe they are to a certain extent, on a spiritual level. But those things were known, especially I believe Baal. I don't even like saying it out loud, but Lord rebuke it. I have to tell the people. in your will, as your will. But these things, those deities they would sacrifice children, like live children, like alive children, like real babies, and then throw them in the fire. So what we see today are like actual live sacrifices, blood sacrifices to their so-called gods. You can call them Baal, Moloch, Baphomet. And, this is what we see. This is especially Planned Parenthood. I mean, that's like a temple. That's like a temple for Baal. Lord help us. So yeah, Jesse, if you have Facebook, you can look for me at the True Perspective, the TRU Perspective. I don't know if I can put it in I can. If you go to, you can actually even email me. Email the True Perspective if you want. If you can't find me any other way, I'll put it in the comments here. The TRU Perspective at gmail.com. You can reach me through there. You could reach me the True Perspective. So I put that in the comments. So anybody, and that's for anybody that needs to reach me for whatever, questions, even send me stuff. I have a personal page too, but I don't know if it will link here correctly. So just go to the Facebook one and add me. I'll add you back or follow, whatever. Jesse says the hierarchy of the heavens as well, the fallen infernal is ordered in a manner that is militant. Wow. Yep. Cousin Vinny, love you, cuz. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Jesse, they are the order of the Pseudothai. Pseudothai? Am I saying that right? Yeah, you need to inbox me, brother, because if you might have information that I haven't come across yet, that you're putting out words or subject matter that I haven't looked into. They report directly to Beelzebub. So these must be like similar names. Definitely inbox me. It starts with. Sorry, I'm reading comments. I'm trying to, try and keep in touch, keep up with everybody. Yeah, Kim, I agree. I cringe all the time when I'm seeing things like this. I don't like it. I really don't. I never have. I don't like violence. Yes, I've watched violent movies. I've watched, I like fights. I like MMA fights. I like boxing. I like football. It's all violent. I get it. But I don't want to see people die. I want to see people live. And I want to see people do good things. And I hate evil. I hate the sin of evil. I really do. I really, really do. I really do. Especially those who do it and know that they're doing it and love it. And this is what we see in our society. This is what we see in America and across the world when we see bombs getting thrown at whole cities, wiping people out, children, women, innocent people. Countless lives, it's in the hundreds of thousands between Ukraine and Russia. I believe it's almost at 100,000 for those who have been wiped out in Gaza. It's thousands of Nigerians, thousands of the Congolese, thousands of Syrians, thousands of Lebanese, thousands of Libyans that are being wiped out. And then you got westernized countries like America, like the UK, and it's tiptoeing right close to it. I mean, it's not full blast getting ripped from your homes just yet, but that's on our doorstep, ladies and gentlemen, people of God, children of God. It's right there. It's been right there for a long time. If they can demolition a building and make you think that it was 19 hijackers and level it completely and say that it was some dude in a turban in a cave, they can fool you with anything if you're not careful. If you're not careful and privy to the information. This is why podcasts like this, and I'm not boasting myself or anything like that. I'm not saying I'm the number one source of information. I'm not saying take my word as 100% gospel. Go and look and do the research. Please don't take my word for any of this, but please take something from here so that you go and actually do a deep dive research, maybe in a library, maybe even look Google, but be careful with Google. You have to know what you're looking for, because they're scrubbing the internet with all this stuff that's out there. They're trying to take away. I'm surprised they haven't scrubbed Building 7 off. I know I'm talking about a lot of 9/11 stuff because we're a day away, but I'm comparing a lot of this stuff because that was my awakening moment, right? And I've been awake. God bless my grandfather for having had him in my life, Grandpa Daniel Early, because he instilled a lot of information into me as a young boy. But I didn't really get it up until I started to actually, kind of do more reading and seeing things and all that stuff. And then 9/11 happened. That was my awakening point. So I relate a lot of these events to that point in timeline. A lot of people would probably do the same thing that saw the JFK assassination, right? Which it's all part of it. It's all linked. This is how the mind, once you start, now I'm not saying like go down these deep rabbit holes, just know that your world, that the worldview is a veil that's been placed over your eyes, over all of our eyes, not just you. It's happened to me. It and sometimes it reels you back in. Sometimes but you got to be careful and being able to understand where the lies are. Sometimes sometimes the media, like a CNN or a Fox News or an MSNBC, yeah, they lie a lot. But a lot of the times is what they're saying. You can actually get the truth out of what they're saying, because the devil isn't actually a liar. He's a deceiver, because he knows the truth, so he twists it, right? Yeah, we're up against the biggest enemy of all time in human history. Of all time. This is 100% a physical representation of the spiritual war that we all under. Whatever you believe, I hope you believe in God. I hope you believe in Christ. I hope you know that he's the way, the truth, and the life. I hope you seek him with all of your heart, because we are up against powers and principalities and rulers of the darkness in high places. All of us, every single human being on earth, even the ones who are, the ones who are helping this out, they know who they're working for, and they probably think that they're going to have some type of, they've been deceived. They've been told, probably through their seances or whatever. They're Aleister Crowley. Anyone who's familiar with Aleister Crowley, super witchcraft wizard guy. That was, I believe, the great-grandfather or the grandfather of George Bush Jr. Practiced in basically devil and demonic worship and summoning dark entities. And I do believe that these people think that they've been told that what they're doing, they will be made, the lords and the kings of this earth, of this world, because that goes into all artificial intelligence. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how I can connect all the dots. It may not make sense to you, and I apologize. I try and follow me. So if you come on and you're a new viewer to the True Perspective, this is what happens. I start saying a lot of things about topics, and I start connecting the dots. It may not always make sense to the viewer, and so this is why I try and condense topics. This show is particularly unique, given the circumstances. In fact, I went on a lot longer than I intended. I only wanted to be up for 30 minutes, but there's a lot of viewers on here, and I appreciate y'all, and I want to stick it out with y'all for a little bit. But I will have to close this out pretty soon. Yeah, JFK was definitely a coup it definitely was a coup. They needed him out because he was going to end the Federal Reserve. He was going to end the CIA. And I believe he had something to do with exposing Israeli intelligence at the time. And there was a lot of stuff, and that's why they took his brother out, Robert Kennedy. Not too long after that, Robert Kennedy was taken out. His brother, MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., he was also killed. Malcolm X was also killed. There were the four assassinations, the four main assassinations within a period of, I believe, 10 years between I think 60s to 70s, a little bit after 70s, give or take. I might have my years wrong just slightly. But the four main people of America of that day, you had Malcolm X, you had Martin Luther King Jr., you had John F. Kennedy, and then you had Robert F. Kennedy. All of them. All of them on paper, on white and black paper, CIA was involved with taking them out. All of them. It's all documented. They will take your leaders out. And I believe 100%. I don't have the proof. I don't have the evidence. But I believe 100% the CIA is behind the death of Charlie Kirk. It's possible because he was probably a presidential, I don't know, he could have been a presidential rival. Excuse me. Regardless if he was a so-called MAGA supporter or whatever. If you saw the crowd that he was talking to, that whole crowd was cheering for him. So imagine, over time, the momentum, and he's building that grassroots. Excuse me. And they needed a blood sacrifice, I guess. It looks like Charlie was it. And they're getting a lot of blood sacrifices through school shootings and the random acts of violence that are happening out there in the streets. Even the gang violence, even the shootouts that are happening all across every major city. I live in Rhode Island, and where it's almost a shooting every other day. You between Pawtucket, Providence, Central Falls, you're always hearing about a stabbing. You're always hearing about a shooting. Massachusetts, the same thing. New York, Detroit, LA, Chicago. Chicago's famous for it, right? They've been famous for it for a good long time now. Yeah. This is the world we are in. And I don't know why over time I feel like I'm surprised. But I'm not surprised, but I am. Because I don't know if I thought that Charlie that would have happened to him. I thought it would have been someone different, like someone that's actually in a political cabinet But the ramifications of this is going to be monumental. Not because it's Charlie Kirk. It's because of it's because of the symbolism of what it represents. Free speech, Second Amendment. He's a father of 2 children and a wife. And I mean, he was basically kind of like, on the surface level of all this, basically like a poster boy for, I don't know, the new America. And what I mean by new America, at least I think from his point of view, he's a Christian. So he had Christian ideals. He believed in God. I don't know the extent of where he was, scripturally or whatever with Christ or whatever, but I would say that he was a believer. But with all of those things in place, that's to a point to have the family together and I know a lot of people make some of this stuff about race and I'm not going to get involved in the colorism aspect of all this. I don't have any more patience or time for that anymore, because we're so far away from it on a realistic level. It's almost only always perpetuated in the media. Almost only in the media. I don't go outside thinking, having conversations like, white people this or black people that or brown people this or indigenous that, or, it's yes, these conversations I'm not saying these conversations don't happen. Of course they happen, and they should happen. We should always be on that understanding to have this conversation. What I'm talking about is the actual hateful aspect. It's there. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's not as prevalent as what the media portrays it as, if that makes sense. Because a lot of these events, again, are orchestrated and designed in order to perpetuate this violence, which is what they want, which is what they may get. A lot of people are saying like, oh, we got to get our get back, or we have to. Or like, I was mentioning earlier too, and I think I got sidetracked. Someone was saying in the comments section of a group, I don't want to mention the group page that I have on Facebook, because I don't know if the group itself supports it. I haven't confirmed that, but it definitely has a lot of people in the comment section that do, where it's like, oh yeah, well, what's for dinner? After the Charlie Kirk Center, I was like, oh wow, what's for dinner? Like that's in the Bible also. It's in the scripture. And I'm paraphrasing. But that men will become cold to the events that are happening, to the evil. Yeah, we all do bleed red. Every single one of us. And I think that's, I know that's part of the big point of why I even made this broadcast, is because people are wanting some type of violent justice for what's occurred, for what's been occurring, not just for Charlie Kirk, but for the events that have happened, especially on the bus. I mean, I know that's rattled a lot of people. You see a young lady being killed by a person that didn't, had 14 different counts of crime prior, and was released by a judge, supposedly on a promise that that person would reappear. I don't know his name off top, that he would reappear or something like that. But, being released back into public, he ends up killing somebody, whether he had mental issues or not. He still ended up killing somebody. He needed to be held where he was, wherever that was, and not let back out onto the street, because then a young woman from on the bus that was killed, she'd still be alive today. Yeah, Christine. Yeah. I've read comments. I mean, it's sickening. It's actually disgusting when people do that. It's or they'll say like, oh, it's sad that he died. It's sad that he got shot, but he was a racist MAGA supporter or whatever like that. And it's completely. First of all, he was not. Yes, he was a MAGA supporter, or a Trump supporter, but he wasn't racist, and he wasn't a bigot, and he wasn't anti-gay. So so just to say like, oh, it's sad that he died, to try and say like you have some type of compassion, and then also to say in the same breath or same sentence, he also was a MAGA racist supporter or whatever the hell it was, which isn't true. It's like they'll say that about. I mean, they'll say it just to justify the means of what's occurred. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've kept y'all for long enough. Yeah, Jesse. Sometimes I do emergency broadcast depending on what the event is. I know I did one, I believe, on when Trump was shot at. I've done a few. I've done a couple. I don't normally do it, but I felt like this was one. This one really bothered me. This one actually really bothered me. This bothers me. Because not for nothing, I've listened to a lot of what Charlie Kirk had said and says or did say over the years, and he has a lot of good. I mean, he has a lot of good content, a lot of good conversation. So, yeah, he's definitely had. He's going to have haters. Anyone's going to have haters, right? I mean, you're supposed to. If you don't have haters, you're not doing something right, I guess. You know what I mean? So. But that still does not give anyone the justification to murder somebody just because of their opinions or whatever truth or whatever fact that they bring to the table that counters the argument that you're bringing. I don't care what year it is, and I don't care if people are emotional. And that's the problem. That is the problem. A part of all of this is that there's an emotion. Now, I'm not saying this was some emotional, blue-haired, whatever, liberal or whatever. I'm saying that because there's definitely footage. And in fact, before I close out too, I'm going to play some things. I'm not going to play him getting shot. I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's. I've seen it. There's video out there where it's not blurred out, and make sure you look at your own. I would say not. I would just say take the word for it that he's been shot and he's been killed. He was shot in the neck, and you could see it. You could see you could see what happens. Fuck. Excuse my language. That's terrible. And there's different angles of it. I meant that I'm gonna play just probably some stuff of a video that someone created or whatever, and close it out that way. It's just probably just gonna highlight something that he's saying. But I did see a video prior to this podcast, probably 5 minutes before I went live tonight, that there looked to see. I wonder if I have. I don't know if I have that up. I'm just looking at my other pages here. That there was a guy running across the roof. And I don't know if I sent it to myself yet. I don't know if I did. Oh, no. It's on my timeline. It is on my timeline. Hold on a second here. Pretty sure it is. Let me see if I can pull it up. And it kind of points it out. Just bear with me, y'all. Yeah, okay, here it is. I got it. I'm gonna pull that up for y'all. It's not showing the shooting. It's not showing Charlie getting shot. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna show that. I don't even think it's right for me to do that. I wouldn't do that unless maybe if it was blurred out. But even still, I'm not. I just don't find that to be. I'm not just not gonna do that. It's too graphic. It's too graphic. I'm trying to have it pulled up. I might just have to pull up to my so yeah, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Hold on, I gotta pause that. But I'll show. So what I am going to show is this first video, and it looks like a guy that's running across the roof. But I'll. Yes, exactly, Christine. Yep. And Jesse, I appreciate. Like I said again, I'm so glad that there's hopefully some new viewers and people looking at this. I know there's a bunch. Wow, there's a bunch of people on X that are looking. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. I appreciate all of you. I really do. I mean, I'm not saying that because I'm making this about me at the show, but I mean, you know, the viewership does help and gets this. Unfortunately, it's a show about somebody who lost their life today that didn't have to. But you know, I think a big part of doing these sorts of things, even if is discovering discovering the facts, discussing these types of things, getting into people's hearts and minds, and you know, because these things are going to continue. They're going to continue. And another part of this is that we have to be brave and still stand for the truth, regardless of what these things are happening. I mean, the number one thing that I'll die for is the truth, because the truth is God, the truth is Christ, the truth is Scripture, the truth is standing not just for what you believe, but also for what you know. Let me pull that video up. Just give me 1 second here, y'all. I'm going to pull that up. Is that it? Yep. All right. So I'm going to bring this on screen and we'll play this together. Hopefully y'all can see it. And okay. So I don't know. So I'm gonna lower this volume. So you can see right here, it looks like something, but it looks like it runs across and then ducks down. I don't know how to slow it on, because this is on somebody else's page that I reposted. Can y'all see that? I hope y'all can see that. So it does look like there's something there. It definitely looks like a person to me, and it looks like it goes towards the left as the camera is panning towards the right, and it looks like that person ducks down or crouches down. Try and point at it. Like, oh. I'm getting people on there. Don't want to get those people in there. Sorry. So it looks like crouches down right about here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. pointing, but right here. That's the person right here. It appears. I'm saying appears because, you know, I'm leaving room for discussion, but it does look that this dot, probably someone in black clothing, dark clothing, runs a little bit towards the left as the camera starts panning right and ducks down. Boom. So, yeah, I mean, there you have it. Yeah, so the elderly guy that was in the blue shirt, they let go. Oh, do I have that video? Let me see if I do. I think I might. Give me a second. I think I might. It was the police talking, I believe. No, that's not it. Is this it? Yes. Okay. I think you posted it, Auntie.
Which have been very cooperative.
I believe you. Yes. So the guy earlier, if anyone that saw the aftermath of who they supposedly caught, was this? It looks like an elderly guy in like a blue shirt, and he's saying, I don't know. There's some video of him saying like, doesn't, plead the fifth or something along those lines. That isn't him. According to this video that I'm about to show, that wasn't him. Although this video does not show anybody. It just says, I think it just says that there's someone in custody, but they let go of the so-called elderly guy that was in the blue shirt. But I'm going to pull this up. And let me transition this over. So I don't want to have all the, oh boy. Sorry about that. Everybody on the timeline is being there. Where did I see it? Hold on a second, y'all. I just had it. Literally just had it. Hold on. There it is. So again, I'm going to click on it. I guess it's just going to show,
Which have been very cooperative.
Some of the, yeah, it's not going to let me, all right.
Which have been very cooperative.
Just going to have to show it this way. Oh, well. So let me back this up just a little bit. And I hope you can see it and hear it once I put it on screen. Here we go. Okay.
Which have been very cooperative and fully engaged in this process. Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zim, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect and was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice. We do still have an active investigation for the person of interest. This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual. This is a tragic moment in our state and in our country. As we heal, we encourage everyone who is struggling with news of the incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips and other information. Thank you.
So yeah, there you have it. And it does say in the wording here, according to the video, that Utah Department of Public Safety, a suspect was taken into custody, George Zim, who was the person that was let go, but cleared in the shooting but was also taken into custody for obstruction of justice. So sorry if that sounded confusing. So yeah, the guy George Zim, that guy that I think that was on the video, I believe that's the guy that they're talking about. He was taken into custody, and apparently there was an obstruction of justice, whatever that means. I wonder what that means. What was he obstructing? What you know? So, and then it says he says suspect is still at large. This was before Kash Patel's announcement. So I don't even know what Kash Patel has said, if there has been someone apprehended. I don't know any further news yet, but yeah. This is all of this news is going to start coming out as the days go. I'm sure. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is our country right now. This is our world. I mean, it's been our country, it's been our world, but it's ramping up. It's ramping up. The quickening is happening. 9/11's tomorrow, and that was a symbolic day. Today's a symbolic day. In fact, these past few years have been symbolic alone. There's been many incidences that have occurred, and we're about to see a lot of fireworks going. Either this type with artificial intelligence, the whole UFO UAP thing, with this whole thing that supposedly is coming from a faraway place, this so-called meteor, that 31 Atlas, whatever it is, so-called, that isn't a meteor, apparently. So something's coming. Something's coming down. Something's coming. Just got to keep our prayers with God. We really do. We got to keep our prayers with God. We got to unify with each other. We got to keep unifying with each other and finding hearts and minds that are on the same page and defend ourselves. And do our best to keep away from any perpetual war that they are frothing at the mouth to have us in. We have to avoid that as much as we can. Because our children are at stake. Our children are at stake. This has civil war written all over it. It really does. It really does. Well, I'm gonna play some. I don't want to play that video. I can't play that video, even though it's far away. It shows it from a far away angle. I don't want to play that. It's too brutal. If you want to see, you got to look at it on your own time. I don't even want to share it. I don't even think I'm going to share that type of shit on my timeline. But, and sometimes I do to because I'm a truther. And sometimes the truth is horrific, strange. Sometimes it's unbelievable. Let me close it out with showing some because these were good. They may make some of y'all cry, or maybe not feel too proud of what's been occurring. Let me put this up on screen.
Oh.
How do I? Oh, there we go.
Oh, beautiful for spacious sky.
Sorry. All right.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace.
It's terrible, man. I couldn't imagine leaving my son. It's crazy. I'm going to play one last thing. Damn. God help us.
Productive with your life. Wow. To go give and to produce and to risk and to then go sow into other people. That is a... You are commanded to go do something.
Sorry. Messed that up.
You are commanded to go do something productive with your life. Wow. To go give and to produce and to risk and to then go sow into other people. That is a biblical idea that has made the world a profoundly better place.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
You are commanded to go do something productive with your life. Wow. To go give and to produce and to risk and to then go sow into other people. That is a biblical idea that has made the world a profoundly better place.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong there at all. Not one bit. It's unfortunate that his life was cut this short. And for his family to be there, it's diabolical. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a planned. I don't have evidence. I don't have the proof. But I see the chess pieces, and I've always been seeing the chess pieces. Many others have been seeing the chess pieces. And these have orchestrated. This is an orchestrated psyop. It's a real thing that occurred. These people are really dying and being killed. It's a blood sacrifice. It's from parasitic legions, elitist groups that believe in sacrificing people and doing horrific things to children and innocent people. Free speech, leaders, true leaders, the ones that do the best to follow in the ways of Christ, the ways of God, the ways of what God intended, the truth, the way, and the life. And this is what we are up against. We are up against the adversary, the evil one, the one who shall not be named in the book of life. Also, it's a symbol that no matter what is to be done, you are their opposition at all times. And you should wear that as a badge of honor at all times. Speaking the truth, whether it be through music, whether it be through conversation, whether it be through the things that you do, the creativity that you do, the walk in life that you, whatever walk in life that you have, you should be as the enemy and the adversary and the evil one who shall not be named continues its perpetual violence against you, you should continue your perpetual truth against it. Always. Without surrendering. That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all for tuning into The True Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. Tomorrow night, I'm sorry. Yes, I may go live tomorrow night because I try to do a 9/11. I will definitely make an attempt, but I do have a show on the 12th, Friday, at 6:30 p.m. with a good friend of mine, Megan Brilliant, and hip hop artist PCs. We're going to be talking Flat Earth. I hope to see you there Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know where you at in the world on there. If you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, look for me, inbox me. Let's if you're interested in coming on the show, come on the show. Maybe we could talk about some things. Maybe we could talk about what we talked about tonight. I also have Monday, I have a show. We're going to be talking about DCYF. In fact, I'm going to be speaking with a guest by the name of Becca Ray. She'll be on 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. And she's got some stuff to say about DCYF, I believe, child services. So do I. That's a whole other animal. It's part of the whole child sacrificing ring. Yeah, I'm sorry that this show wasn't uplifting as it normally is. But I appreciate y'all for sticking with me. Thank y'all once again. Make sure you like, share, subscribe on The True Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. On all major platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. The True Perspective, the TRU Perspective. And I'm going to close this out with a prayer. I don't always do. I try to implement that. But, Lord, watch over all people, all things, and all of your creation throughout America, throughout all the world. And to not allow people to use this event that has been occurring in our nation and in our world as fuel to further the agenda of those who are not seeking your will and your faith. And protect those. Watch over the family of Charlie Kirk. Watch over the family of all people who have been harmed, who are being persecuted across all nations, and intervene in all of the lives who are lost from you. In your holy name, Jesus, we pray. Amen. Thank you all for tuning in to The True Perspective one more time. Thank you for tuning into the True Perspective on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Rumble. I love y'all. Love each and every one of y'all. Thank you. Love y'all. Thank you. Appreciate you. Peace.